Good morning, you guys. Good morning. Good morning. Rob Valentín here with another powerful video. We're going to talk about toxicity in your life and how and why you should let it go. I'll see if we get some people to join. It's pretty early. A lot of people are probably still asleep. Some of you might even be hungover. Shame on you, because that's toxic. Got to get out of that life, people. I know, I've been there for many years, and it isn't fun waking up feeling like crap. So we're going to talk about some toxic things. Going to get a couple people on here in just a moment. It is a gorgeous day here in St. Augustine, Florida. I'm so grateful to be alive, so thankful. And maybe I'll talk about an attitude of gratitude. We need to talk about that as well. Many of you are miserable and bitter. Many of you are holding on to things that don't serve you anymore. People, places, things, situationships. You're trying to make something out of nothing. You're holding on to people that are toxic for you. You know, people that have let you down numerous times, and you keep allowing these people back in your life. And you still haven't got the message. You still haven't learned. People aren't going to change. People are who they are. Don't believe when a person says they're going to change. People don't change. I learned this years ago. When you see a person for who they are, when you see the red flags, when you see their true colors, don't ignore it. Like when you see those red flags, don't ignore them, because it's who they are. You cannot change that person. Listen, I speak from experience. I have 50 years of experience of dealing with toxicity off and on. I've seen it many times. I've been able to address it and walk away. And there were times where I fell into the trap of believing that I could change this person or this situation. I fell into the trap of believing that they themselves would change. But no, you have to, the first thing you have to do is you have to recognize your own value. You have to say to yourself, and a lot of us have trouble with this because we think it's pride or ego. No, listen, you have a right to believe in yourself. You are somebody. I look at myself in the mirror and I say, you know what? I'm a good man. I'm a decent looking man. I have a lot to offer. I know what I bring to the table, and I'm not going to settle for less. And I carry myself that way, and people may call it arrogance or cockiness. No, it's humble confidence, I call it. You got to be confident in yourself, right? But be humble about it. Know what your value is and your worth. That's where it starts. If you're having trouble seeing yourself as valuable, then there's further issues you need to investigate. There's further things you need to do. Pray about it, you know? Speak positive to yourself. A lot of people have this bad habit of saying bad things and speaking death into their life with their tongue. No, you got to know who you are, because once you, and I'm going to go into an array of topics here because it's all coming to me right away. Listen, God has put this on my heart this morning. Let me talk about relationships, because this is important. I don't care what kind of relationship it is. Relationships in general. The mistake that people make is they get out of one relationship and because they're weak, because they don't want to learn how to be alone, they run into the arms of another person. Can't do that. Because what happens is you cheat yourself out of healing. You cheat yourself out of growing. Listen, I am speaking from experience, not my own personal, just my own personal experience, but the experiences of others I've interviewed and spoke to, and books I've read and videos I've watched over the years. You have to be able to heal yourself. And the only way that you're going to heal yourself is to stay by yourself. Learn to love yourself and be alone with yourself. Learn that your comfort and your happiness comes from you and not any outside source. Of course, beside God. I'm talking on the physical realm. Your happiness isn't going to come from another man. Your happiness isn't going to come from another person. Your happiness isn't going to come from material things, right? You know how you're going to get happiness and contentment? First of all, happiness is a state of mind, right? It isn't a journey or a destination. It isn't somewhere you have to get to. Like, you can't say to yourself, I'm going to be happy when I find the right man. I'm going to be happy when I find the right woman. I'm going to be happy when I get the perfect job. I'm going to be happy when I make $50 an hour, or whatever it is. Or I'm going to be happy when those things will make you happy temporarily, but they are not true solidified. It's not true solidified happiness. You understand? Your happiness is a state of mind. It comes from within. It's what you believe about yourself. People get out of these relationships, they don't heal, they jump into another one, and what you do is you forfeit or you delay your healing. You have to learn to be alone. You have to learn to be by yourself. Because when you don't and you jump into something else right away, you're cheating yourself out of growth. You're cheating yourself out of becoming a better version. You are to use that time. Listen, I'm speaking from experience. You are to use that time to improve yourself, to work on yourself, to rebuild your relationship with God. That's what that time is for. Self-improvement. And you're not going to get self-improvement by jumping into another relationship with somebody else. If you're doing that and you have this pattern, you're cheating yourself. Some people would call you weak or insecure. Those are other terms. I don't want to use those, but you are cheating yourself out of personal growth. Believe me when I tell you. You have to give yourself a chance to grow and stop looking for a man or a woman to make you feel happy or needed or whatever you're looking for. You're not going to get it. You're not going to find it in another person. You're going to find it in yourself. Toxicity is very bad. And listen, I know this because I speak to so many people. I have spoken to so many people and I've learned so much over my 50 years. I don't want to be that person. I got out of a relationship recently. Listen, I ain't jumping in no relationship with nobody else. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to look back and say, where could I have made improvements? What red flags did I miss? What about my situation did I miss? You know, that I could have done better. I could have been more aware. And you know something else? Here's the crazy thing, guys. Excuse me. I did have some surgery. I'm almost healed. So if I talk a little funny and I keep clearing my throat, that is why. So forgive me. I know it's annoying to me. But the funny thing is that we already saw the red flags. We already knew in our spirit, our discernment spoke up and said, hey, this isn't good for you. This isn't right for you. And what do? We settle. What do? We accept that situation and we think we can change that person or that they will change. No, they are who they are. Listen, they are who they are. You're not going to change the person. And they're not going to change. It's just who they are. The way life is like this. Look, there's over 7.5 billion people on this earth, right? Some people are more spiritually mature than others. Some people are more physically mature than others. Some people are mentally mature than others, right? People are on different levels. And a lot of times what happens is, and you might attract a person in your life who's on a different level than you. And a lot of times they might be on a lower level than you. And I'm not saying that makes you better than anybody. No, it has not. We're all equal. But when it comes to certain maturity aspects like spirituality, intellectual maturity, sometimes people are on different levels. And sometimes people come into your life just to be a lesson for you or to learn something from you. Or maybe your job is to get them to another level, to push them to a higher level, whatever it is. But here's the thing. Sometimes we make the mistake of getting involved romantically with people we have no business getting involved with. I'm going to say it again. A lot of times, we make the mistake of getting involved romantically with people we should not be getting involved with romantically. And we're setting ourselves up for failure. We're setting ourselves up for a fall. You have to listen to your conscience, your gut, and listen to it, because it will never, ever, ever lie to you. Believe me, 50 years of experience, I'm telling you, my conscience was always right. And when I didn't listen to it, I kicked myself in the behind. I'm like, oh man, here we go again. I did it to myself again. How many times can you guys say that? The question is, are you learning from those situations? Are you growing from those situations? Are you becoming a better version of yourself? So the takeaway today is listen to your conscience, pay attention to the red flags. If you're in a situation or a place or whatever where you're not supposed to be, get out of it. Give yourself time to grow and heal. Allow yourself to grow to be a better version of yourself. I promise you, when you become stronger, when you pull yourself out of that pit, now of course prayer is big, you got to have God involved, but when you are pulled out of that pit and you can learn that you're able to stand on your own 2 feet, and you feel solid in your walk, you feel solid in your life, you feel solid in in your maturity, it's going to be very difficult for a person to come in your life and you settle. You're not going to settle so easily. You're going to be strong. See, a lot of people do the things they do in relationships from a sense of neediness. They're so needy because they're not strong on their own. They need to be with somebody. They need to get into another relationship. They need somebody to give them validation. No, you are responsible for all of that. You're responsible to love yourself. You're responsible for your own self-validation. Hey, if you can get it from the outside on top of that, great. But that's not what we need to rely on. That's not what determines our value. We determine our value. God, more importantly, determines your value. Give yourself time to heal so that you can rediscover yourself, you can connect to yourself, and you can love yourself once again. And you're going to reconnect with God, and you're going to start walking strongly, and you're going to hold your head up. And then one day, you're going to look back and say, man, this was the best thing I ever did. It was the best thing I ever did. Let me tell you, because it's tempting when you get out of a relationship to immediately jump into another one because you're feeling hurt, you're feeling that pain, you're feeling that disconnect, from being with that person, or that disconnect from whatever, just having that connection with that person. When that bond is broken, it is hurtful, because by nature, we are used to being in tribes. We're used to being with people, not alone, because our mind wants to tell us if we're alone, if you look at ancient times and what's in our DNA, being alone was meant death, because when you were living in tribes and you were outcast from that tribe and you were on your own, you could die because you had either wild animals or other tribes maybe that might try to kill you because you're not part of their tribe. I know it sounds crazy. This is true. You got to look at what's in the human DNA. So my point is, no, when you get out of a relationship or out of a situationship or whatever, you're not going to die. Believe that. I remember, I'll tell you a quick story and I got to go. I was married for 20 years, right? And when I got out of my marriage, trust me when I tell you this, I thought I was not going to live. I thought I was going to die. It was the craziest thing. I'm sweating because it's hot down here today. I thought that I was going to die. I didn't think I could live without this other human being. I know people look at that like, wow, that's crazy. Let me tell you something. Until you go through it, you won't understand it. But that's how I felt. I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to survive. This is it. It's over for me. And you know what? It was the best thing that ever happened, because I grew. I became closer to God, stronger. And you know what? I would rather be single and happy and secure than be in a relationship, or even worse, a situationship, just because. No way. You know what? Listen, you are born alone. You are going to die alone. You don't need anybody. You need yourself first, or you need God first, and then you, then your family. And then once you become strong, hopefully at some point, you'll begin to attract the right people in your life, the ones that are going to fulfill you, the ones that are going to support you, the ones that are going to speak highly of you, the ones that you can trust, the ones that are going to be your ride or die, the ones that are going to have your back. Those are the people you're going to trust, because let me tell you, those other worms, when they come along, they're going to see you. They're going to be like, nah, I can't penetrate that shield. I can't penetrate his or her armor. Let me go find some weakling somewhere else that I can hurt, or I can bring down, or I can leech off of, or, you know, I can become a bondage to. No. Once you become strong, you're going to attract the right people in your life, and they're going to be the ones, the right ones. And you'll know, because you'll feel it in your spirit. Because when the bad ones come along, immediately they're either going to remove themselves or you're going to walk away. This is Rob Valentín. If my videos help you guys, I want you to send me a friend request. I'm going to start doing these videos more frequently. I'm going to actually start a new page, a motivational page. I've had one for years, but I'm going to start another one. And I'm really going to start to put my content out there, because I want to help people. I know many of you are hurting. Share this video, because someone needs to hear this. Someone needs to know. If we're not friends, send me a friend request. I love you all. God bless you. Remember, all of this, Jesus Christ is number one. Make him the Lord and Savior of your life today. God bless you.